Hi, this is Mrs. Chemris. I'm sorry that I'm out again today. I am feeling better, but I have to get some tests done today. So hopefully I will be back soon. I hope everybody enjoyed their break and had a restful time and a fun new year, and let's hope for everybody 2021 is a better year. Now, what I wanted to go over with you was solving equations when you have a variable on both sides. Now, I know you watched a video last class on how to do this, but right now I want everyone to open up to page 7 in your 3.4 packet. Okay? And we are going to work on problem number 1. Okay, now the first thing you do whenever you're trying to solve an equation is you need to simplify both sides of the equation. So in this particular case, first I have to distribute and then see if I need to combine like terms. So when I distribute, I get 4x minus 2 equals 3x plus 3. Now, I don't have any other like terms, so both sides are simplified. But now I say, wow, this is different from what we've done before because I have an x on the left and I have an x on the right. And in order for me to solve this equation, I have to get both x's on the same side. So I either don't want the 3x here or I don't want the 4x here. And in math, when you don't want something, you want to take it away, you subtract. So that means I have two options. I can either subtract 3x from both sides, and that would give me x minus 2 equals 3, because these cancel out. Or the other option, I could subtract 4x from both sides. And that would give me negative x plus 3. Now, which you decide to do is personal choice. You want to get the variable on one side, but you're allowed to subtract or add to either side, whichever you decide. Now, the reason I think subtracting 3x from both sides is the best choice is because it both gives me my variable on the left, that goes away, and it also makes my variable positive. So now I have the simple equation x minus 2 equals 3. I add 2 to both sides, and I end up with x equals 5, which is the correct answer. Okay, so our goal now is to always simplify both sides of the equation. But then once both sides of the equation are simplified, we ask ourselves, is there only one variable, or is the variable on two different sides? If the variable's on two different sides, we have to get rid of one of the variables. So let's look at number 3. 8x minus 3 times 2x minus 4 equals 17. So here, first thing I'm going to do is distribute. 8x minus 6x plus 12 equals 17. And I lucked out because the variables are on the same side. So now all I have to do is combine my like terms. So I put the commas here because it makes it obvious to me that the 8x is positive, but that this is a negative 6x. When I combine an 8x and a negative 6x, I get 2x. So now I have 2x plus 12 equals 17. I subtract 12, I subtract 12. 2x equals 5. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Now, I don't automatically think my answer's wrong because it's not a whole number, because sometimes your answer is a fraction. Now, I personally like improper fractions as long as they're simplified. But if leaving it as an improper fraction makes you uncomfortable because they scared you so much at LMS, you can change this to 2.5, or you can change it to 2.5. They are all completely acceptable answers. Again, my preference is just leave it as an improper fraction unless it's a word problem. Okay. So now if you're like, okay, Mrs. Chemrus, we already learned this and this is super simple, then you can go ahead and try to do on page 7, number 4, number 7, and number 8 on your own. I don't want you guys doing 9 and 10. They are challenges, but not challenges I want you to bother with right now. If you're like, well, I kind of like doing it along with you, then continue to watch the video and do it along with me. If you want to do it on your own, stop the video, do it on your own, but then watch the video and make sure you did it right. Okay, so for number 4, 7x minus 4 times 3x plus 4 equals 9. So this becomes 7x minus 12x minus 16. Notice I was careful to distribute my negative, equals 9. I put commas in to combine my like terms. A positive 7x and negative 12x is negative 5x. Minus 16 equals 9. Add 16, add 16. Negative 5x equals 25. Now careful with your sign here. Don't divide by 5. We divide by negative 5. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So a common mistake on a problem like this would have been to have an answer of positive 5. Be careful. When your variable is negative, you divide by a negative coefficient. Okay. So now we're going to do number 7 and 8. Okay. So number 7, 9 minus 4 times 3x plus 1 equals 3 times 6 minus 3x minus 9. Okay, again, first thing I do is distribute. So 9 minus 12x minus 4, notice grandma was negative and I distributed it, equals 18 minus 9x minus 9. Now, before I do anything else, I combine my like terms. I have a positive 9 and a negative 4, which gives me a positive 5. And here I have a positive 18 and a negative 9, which gives me a positive 9. So be careful with your signs. Now, I want to zero out the variable. If I add 9x to this side, my variable goes away. But if I add 9x to that side, I have to add 9x to this side. That becomes a negative 3x plus 5. Now, could I have added 12x to both sides? Yes, I could. But some of you like the variable on the left. Either way is fine. If you added 12x to both sides, you would have gotten the right answer too. But now I'm going to subtract 5. Negative 3x equals 4. Again, be careful with the sign. Divide by a negative, divide by a negative. X equals negative 4/3. So now, if you got a positive 4/3, look back and see where you made your sign error. Because now you have a lot of things going on, and it's very easy to make a sign error. Okay, and the last problem I wanted you to do was number 8. So for number 8, we have 13 minus 4 times 5x plus 1 equals 3 times 7 minus 5x minus 15. Okay, so we have a lot going on here. And we're distributing lots of negatives, but we're being careful and we're not making mistakes. Okay, so once again, I separate it by commas because now I'm going to combine my like terms. My like term here is a 13 and a negative 4. So that becomes negative 20x plus 9. and I have a positive 21 and a negative 15, which is a positive 6. And now I could either add 15 to both sides or add 20 to both sides. Well, last time I kept the variable on the left. This time I'll add 20x to both sides because it doesn't matter which way I do it. Here I get 9 equals 5x plus 6 minus 6 minus 6. And we get 5x equals 3. Now, careful here because a common mistake, tell me I'm going to do something wrong. Everybody, when you're watching me, shout out what I'm doing wrong. I go divided by 3, x equals 5/3. What did I do wrong? I completely ignored the coefficient and I just divided whatever happened to be on the left. Well, that's wrong. I need to isolate the variable, so I divide by 5, and my answer is x equals 3/5. So be careful of that. You always divide by the coefficient of the variable. So x equals 3/5. Okay, so now that we reviewed that, you are going to work on page 8, and that's your homework. You're going to start doing that now on a separate sheet of paper. You will see on page 8, if you look on page 8 right now, if you look at number 1, you may be saying to yourself, well, I see 9y plus 4 equals 2y plus 25. What is that 3 written there? Well, that 3 that I wrote in for you is the answer to the problem. So once you do it, you should make sure you get the same answer I gave you. So in this particular case for number 1, we're going to subtract 2y from both sides. So I get 7y plus 4 equals 25, minus 4 minus 4. I get 7y equals 21, divide by 7, y equals 3. And because 3 is written next to it, I know 3 is the correct answer. Okay, so you guys for homework, I'm going to do 1 through 21 on a separate sheet of paper. Separate sheet of paper. And why is that? Because look how much space I took. I do not want you to feel limited in your space. I don't want you to cram your work. So do this all on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, and that's the end of this video.